Hey everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today I'm doing another video. Now today I'm doing another interview with someone of Britain's Got Talent, which is very exciting, and I'm interviewing Abby, who made it to the semi-finals of Britain's Got Talent. So today we're going to be talking about her time on the show, what comes next for her, and her favourite moments on Britain's Got Talent. So please welcome Abby.
Hello, my name's Abby CARTER-SIMPSON. I am a musical comedian, actor, singer and teacher who was most recently on Britain's Got Talent live semi-finals, playing the ukulele and singing some songs as well.
Thank you so much for joining me, Abby. It's going to be great talking about your time on Britain's Got Talent and finding out a bit more about you. So to start off the interview, why did you decide to audition for Britain's Got Talent?
So I'm 31 years of age. And I trained as an actor years and years and years ago when I was about 18. And theatre and comedy and performing is something that I've always absolutely loved doing. Obviously, since COVID, when everything stopped, coming out of the back of that, I trained as a teacher, and that was a brilliant success to come out of COVID. But since then, I think sometimes we have to tell ourselves to grab every opportunity. It's something that's been on the TV year in and year out, and there's always been the sort of opportunities to get involved in it. I think sometimes life aligns and you feel like, right, this is the right opportunity to do something. All of my experiences up until this point seem to have worked towards doing the show. So I thought, right, now's as good a time as ever. I think sometimes we need to think to ourselves, why not now? What am I waiting for? So I just went for it.
Yeah, I think it's great you went for it, and obviously it worked out well for you as well. And I think you're right, it's always important to take every opportunity that comes your way. So you mentioned in your introduction that you played the ukulele, you did your songs on Britain's Got Talent. So how long have you been doing that for?
So I've been writing my own music and performing it in comedy clubs and the like since about 2017. When I was an actor, I used to do a lot of comedy, and all the roles I used to get used to be quite comedic based. And it was something that I've always had a passion for. Victoria Wood is one of my favourite artists ever, and she's absolutely wonderful. So, I mean, to be compared to her on the show was like an absolute honour. So I originally started writing my own songs in about 2017, and it just progressed from there, really.
Oh, it's great to kind of hear how it started, and like you said, since 2017, so it's exciting to see your journey from then to now. And part of being on Britain's Got Talent is performing in front of 4 very exciting people. So this year we had Bruno to add to the mix, but what was it like getting to perform in front of the 4 judges?
The whole experience was... I keep describing it as sort of like a fever dream, because again, you know, it's on your TV every year. You know the setup and the formation of the show, and because it works so well, it doesn't really change. So you've grown up sort of watching it happen. And when I was backstage, like one of the 4 buzzers went off just before me, so I could feel that sort of adrenaline rushing. And then one of the production team like, "Well, you ready to go meet Anton Deck?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, I guess so." So I turned around the corner, they were there and said, "Are you ready?" I was like, "Okay." And then I walked out on stage, and then there were the 4 judges sat there with this whole amazing audience at the Palladium behind them. And it was, I think in the moment, you don't have time to think about what they're going to say afterwards. And so you have to just do you. And the thing is about performing, about things that you've written yourself, but also about entertainment in general, it's subjective, which is a beautiful thing. Life would be very boring if we all liked the same style of music or we all liked the same TV programs. But what it is that you have to try and do is you have to try and connect with as many people as possible. So not only are you connecting with those judges, but you're also connecting with the hundreds of people that are sat in the audience, because they are one of the biggest judges on the show. You know, if they're behind you, then that is going to really G up the crowd. However, if they're thinking, well, not quite sure, then that can turn in a second. So it was an amazing experience, and the comments that I got were absolutely amazing. So I can't be happy, and I can't be more thankful for it.
Yeah, you'd had a really, really, really good first audition, and like you said, the audience are kind of, like you said, the 5th judge on the panel. Simon always kind of feeds back off the audience, so having their support is always a really good thing to have. Now, in previous years on Britain's Got Talent, we've had a reaction kind of filmed when people got through to the semi-final, but we didn't have that for the last couple of years. So how did you feel when you found out you were going through to the live semi-finals?
That's a very good question. So after I finished the audition, I think it was one of those things that I didn't think or look too far into the future. So it was such an incredible, wild experience, the first audition. I was just sort of thinking about that. So as soon as it happened, and obviously it happened a really long time ago, but like, so it was filmed in sort of like the January time. So I've been through that sort of journey and then kind of parked it a little bit. But I was actually coming out of, I work in, I'm a teacher by day. So I was coming out of school and I got a phone call from one of the producers. And literally was just walking out to the gates and they were like, "Oh, hi Abby, how you doing?" I was like, yeah, fine, thank you. And I thought it was just about for my first audition. And then they said to me, "Oh, just want to let you know, we absolutely loved your first audition and we've selected you as the semi-finals." No, honestly, I burst out crying. Absolutely, just I didn't know what to do. I was like, "Oh my gosh!" It's sort of that recognition and the fact that the journey's not over was just absolutely amazing. So I was blown over, that's not right, bowled over, blown away, bowled over by everything that had happened. And I was really, really excited. I had the song I sang for the semi-final. I'd had that idea for quite a while about writing it. And so as soon as they said, I was like, yeah, I know exactly what I'm going to do. And I just got really excited about performing at the Hammersmith Apollo on one of the biggest TV shows in the country. So yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure it felt absolutely incredible. And like you said, you got to continue your journey on the show. And obviously not a lot of people get to do Britain's Got Talent, so it must have felt incredible to get to move on to the semi-final stage. Now, your talent, I think, is incredible. You know, you make up your own songs, you have your ukulele, but how long does it actually take to put one of your performances together?
Do you know what? It depends, really. I have to be very inspired by something. Now, all of my songs, sort of my style of writing is around sort of like the trappings of everyday life, I would say, with a message of positivity. So when I've got an idea in my head, it normally will come out really quickly. And then it's just about finding it, sort of like finding a catchy melody, finding how to sort of condense it. Because as well, with songs on the show, it can only be it's quite a short amount of time, so you can't just say, right, I've got like 25 verses that I'm going to do. It needs to like hit the point straight away and keep the audience really involved and sort of listening to what you're saying. So it would depend, really. Some things come really, really easily, some things I have to work on a little bit more, but it's just trying and testing it, and also kind of doing comedy and stand-up comedy and all that kind of thing. Once you get a song, it's sort of performing it in front of people, right? What works, what doesn't work, where did the laughs hit, what do I need to go back and write again? So that's sort of the way I write. But it would depend. Like sometimes it will be maybe a week or so and I've not written anything, and then I will be like, oh, I've got an idea, and then I'll be up late at night being like, right, I just can't stop writing. So it depends, really. But it's I love to write about topics that everyone can relate to, because I think there's something really beautiful in the normalities that we go through and that we can sort of laugh at.
Yeah, that theme certainly came across in both your performances on the show, and the process of creating them sounds both complicated and fun, so it's good that you kind of have both sides to it. Now, we're talking about it a little bit earlier, but obviously the auditions and the semi-finals are two very different atmospheres. I feel like the auditions are more laid back and then the semi-finals are more grand. So what was it like going to the semi-finals? Did it feel different to the auditions? What was your experience in the semi-finals like?
Do you know what? The experience was amazing. I think it's one of those things where you've got all of these amazing happenings at your fingertips, and the crew, and I've said this literally from day dot, the production team, the crew were just absolutely phenomenal. From the wardrobe to the kind of set design, and people who had sort of visions for what things were going to look like and how they could help me with it and all that kind of thing. It all came together so brilliantly. And I just enjoyed every moment of it. Don't get me wrong, like, there were times on the journey towards the performance where we're human, we have self-doubt. Sometimes you wake up and you go, God, I don't know if this is going to work. I don't know how this is going to be portrayed, because, you know, again, when you've written something yourself, people might like it, but then again, people might not like it. So I think it was always that thing of, oh, I don't know, I won't know until I do it live on TV whether this is going to work or not. And it did. And so I think the whole day, I was there from about 7 in the morning, up until I think like 11 at night when it finished. But it was all just amazing. You know, it just felt like such a star. Like, hair done, makeup done, like feeling like a rock star on stage. My face was behind me. I was at the Hammersmith Apollo. I mean, yes, there were sort of moments of anxiety and the moments of, oh my goodness me, this is a little bit nerve wracking. But as soon as everything started, I was like, right, you've just got to, and people did keep saying to me along the way, you know, you've just got to enjoy this, just got to enjoy this. And sometimes when you're feeling a little bit stressed, you're like, I know I've just got to enjoy it, but I've also got to make sure that I don't forget a word or I don't muck up. But when it actually happened on the day, I mean, it was electrifying, walking out on that stage and seeing everyone and the cheers and everything, and then getting to perform my own music to the general public and beyond. I mean, it was a once in a lifetime. 100%. Well, hopefully not. Hopefully it will happen again.
Yeah, it was definitely a really, really, really good performance. And like your audition, the audience were definitely behind you in it, and it was really, really good. And I think, like we said earlier, when the audience is engaged and the audience love it, it's really, really exciting, and it kind of gives you that final push. And would you say that you preferred your first audition or the semi-finals performance, if you could choose?
That is, again, another brilliant question. I think I like them for different reasons, you know, because with the first round audition, I think it was that real, oh my goodness, this is happening. And it was sort of a song that was, I think the second song that I did was quite, it had a real message to it. And there was that sort of like, be who you want to be, that's amazing. But I think the first one was that little bit more funny but emotional, so you could sort of see what was happening with the song and seeing how people were reacting to it. And I remember sort of the cheers and everyone was clapping along with it. And because with the second one there was like again, more production value, the first one was just me and my ukulele and that was it. And so you can really hear the way that the audience are reacting to it. And so I think for different reasons they were amazing. The second one was, again, it just felt like it got up a gear and it made me realise what this could be. So I think it's very difficult to choose. They've both got really amazing positive notes from both of them. So I'm going to say undecided, both amazing.
No, that's totally okay. And I agree. Both performances were really, really good and in their own ways unique as well. And I like I said earlier, the audience loved both of them. I loved watching both of them. So they all had a positive outcome. So do you have a favourite moment on Britain's Got Talent, if you could pick? I know it's difficult. It can be your performance behind the scenes. Is there like one specific moment which you would say was your favourite?
I've got two. Can I do two?
Of course, go for it.
Thanks. The first one would probably be when on the semi-final, I think it was just the realisation of walking out onto stage. And so when you're performing at the Apollo, your VT is playing behind you. So it's playing on the stage for everyone to watch. As I was walking out, they were like setting up my mic and everything. My VT was playing, and obviously it's something that I've written about, like how much I love performing. And so I could hear it playing of like, I did like a line like, being on stage is what I want to do, making people laugh with my points of view. So I heard that and I was like in pitch black darkness. And then I just went to myself, like, go for it. Do you know what I mean? And sort of when the track kicked in and everyone was cheering, that was an experience that I will never be able to forget. And then my second most favourite memory is the fact that on my first audition, my two best friends, who have been my best mates since back in the days of drama school, so talking like 13 years, they were able to be with me for the whole day from all the filming and everything. So if you look, the two guys who are watching me in both my audition and my semi-final show, if you watch everything back, like the VT, they're extras and everything, which is just like the best thing ever. So they were with me on all the filming days, everything. And just to have like friends with you to experience that, because performing can sometimes be quite lonely, like especially when you're gigging, you're going places all on your own, you're taking long train journeys all on your own. So to have this amazing thing happen, but also to have my best mates with me, just like keeping me focused, making me laugh, being silly. Like if I was getting a bit stressed, like I remember there was one time where I was doing an interview on when like you sit on the boxes and they talk to you, or you're like, pretend you're doing the guitar or whatever. They were behind, sort of like trying on the costumes and just being silly. So that for me is like a beautiful memory that I will treasure, because it was so personal, I think. So yeah, they're my two.
Oh, it's fantastic that you had your friends with you. And like you said, having a familiar face is always a good thing. It can give you an extra push as well. And like you said, your first favourite moment, walking onto the stage and hearing that, I can imagine it was definitely a surreal moment. I expect that it was like a goosebumps moment. It sounded incredible. Now, I don't know whether you have an answer to this question, but do you have a favourite judge on the panel?
I've been thinking about this one. I don't. They're all excellent, I would say, and they all bring something different. I'd say the one that I was most intrigued about what they would say was Simon, because I know that sometimes with comedy and things like that, he is like a real yes or a no kind of person. So I think I was quite intrigued, and I think my reaction on the semi-finals when he said it was amazing, I honestly thought he was, because he was just like building up, and I thought he was literally going to be like, honestly, that was not great. So when he said it was like amazing and such brilliant comments, that was, to me, was such a amazing feeling. But they're all like it. Bruno is very sort of fun and vibrant, and you can sort of look over to him and he's like really kind of like loving it and that kind of thing. And Alicia and Amanda, they both said brilliant things as well. So yeah, they're all great. But yeah, I would say that Simon was the one who I was probably a bit more like, I wonder how he's going to take this, or how he's going to like it. And he didn't mind me jibing at him a few times as well in the song. So
that's always good. And like you said, Simon is the judge to impress. He's the one that everybody wants to make happy. You always want a yes from him. So it's very understandable why he was kind of your one you wanted to impress the most. So in terms of what comes next for you, is there anything exciting happening? Is there anything coming up that you're allowed to tell us about in terms of your career?
Amazingly, wildly, I am going to be playing Glastonbury this weekend coming up. So it'll be Elton John, Arctic Monkeys, me. So I'm absolutely buzzing. I can't believe it. I found out a few weeks ago that I'll be playing at the Cabaret tent at the Theatre and Circus area of Glastonbury on the Friday and the Saturday. So again, it feels like a dream. Who knew that 2023 would bring Britain's Got Talent and Glastonbury? I seem to have, like I said, I sort of wanted to be on stage from a very young age and always dreamed of being on these big stages, and I sort of seem to be ticking them off in a year. So if I would stop to think for a second and wasn't so busy running from job to job, I think I'd get a little bit emotional about it. So I'm doing that this weekend, which I just absolutely can't believe. And then we've got lots of gigs coming up in the pipeline, which I'll be sort of sharing around social media. I've got a really exciting potential venture in the summer with a women's-led art festival. So hopefully I'll be able to announce something about that a little bit more. And yeah, just filling up that gig diary, really.
That sounds really, really exciting. I'm so happy that's happened for you, and very quick as well. Like not very long, obviously, like you said, until Glastonbury this weekend. So how are you feeling about that? Are you feeling excited and ready?
Yes, I'm good. I'm excited. I am really looking forward to playing loads of songs, some old, some new, and doing some jokes and all that kind of thing. So I'm absolutely super ready. And yeah, I'm just, you know what, you've got to enjoy these experiences. Yes, there are nerves, but of course, nerves are good. I think nerves mean that you care, but you've just got to go out there and enjoy it. Otherwise, I mean, that's the main thing. If you're enjoying it, they're going to enjoy it too. So.
Oh, 100%. And if you're enjoying it on stage, the audience will enjoy it as well. And I'm sure you will have an incredible time. Now, thank you so much for joining me, Abby, and thank you for taking the time out to come and chat with me.
You are so welcome. You've been so lovely. Thank you so much, Charlie, for having me.
Oh, you're most welcome. And also thank you to everybody who watched the interview. I hope you enjoyed it and found out a bit more about Abby and her time on Britain's Got Talent. And I will see you very soon for another video. Bye, guys.